Good morning, guys. Let's hope the mobile gods are with us today because I had so many technical problems yesterday. I think I recorded Coffee Talk like 3 times. And by the 3rd time, I got pretty good at it. So hopefully it was helpful for you guys and you enjoyed it. Welcome to Thursday. We're almost at the end of the week. And we have some really interesting news stories to talk about today. A couple of them I don't think you're going to see anywhere else. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about them. First thing you probably have seen already is that Alex Trebek, the longtime Jeopardy host, has pancreatic cancer. And he made the announcement yesterday in a YouTube video. One of the things I love about Jeopardy, and I'm sure you can understand why, and appreciated about his announcement, is he mentioned that about 50,000 people in America get pancreatic cancer every year. This is stage 4, so it's pretty serious for him. But he didn't miss the opportunity to provide a little information. And I thought, how great is that? Because he's educating people about, something that's really serious in his life. He's 78 years old. And I have to tell you guys, I didn't realize. I don't know if you're listening to the background, but World War III has begun over toys, so I might have to go split that up. But one of the things that he said about pancreatic cancer is not only the amount of people, but he kind of recognized, hey, this is going to be a challenge. But I have 3 years left on my Jeopardy contract, so I'm going to do my best. Thought that was kind of a really nice way to make the announcement. There are about 56,000 people every year that are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And one of the things I learned yesterday that I did not realize, despite everything that we got going on in social media, I know a lot of you say you don't really turn on the television. I don't really turn on the television anymore, which is remarkable since I used to work on TV, but I just don't watch it. I mean, it's just not conducive to my life. I don't know about, oh my gosh. Did you guys hear that pause? You are fighting, and I told you not to. We'll see how this goes. Anyhow, Jeopardy still draws about 10 million people every day on average. 10 million people. That is a huge number to draw every day. For example, working on the news, we were happy. I mean, it would be a big day if you had 2 million people watching you. So 10 million people every day? Like on a random Tuesday? Interesting about Jeopardy. I hope this feed is still working for you guys. It already froze for me once, so I hope it's still working. I think part of the problem is I have recorded a few too many videos like this on my phone, and even though I deleted about 2,000 yesterday, it's still a problem. Okay, a couple of things I think you should know today. One of the stories I don't think you're going to see, and thank goodness for our friends over at the Long War Journal that takes a look at terrorism affairs and what's going on around the world. They flagged a report that was just recently out by the UN. The UN Security Council did like an overview of what's happening with terrorism around the world, and very clearly stated, listen, you're not hearing as much about terrorist attacks as you did even a couple years ago, but that doesn't mean the threat is over. Don't worry, she's safe. She's climbing on furniture we're not supposed to be climbing on. I mean, this is a zoo. This is a total zoo. But this is important. So one of the things that the UN Security Council said is that that Al-Qaeda remains a big threat, continues to have a relationship with the Taliban in Afghanistan, and continues to use Afghanistan as a safe haven. Now, why does this matter? It matters because the United States is continuing our negotiations with the Taliban, which the UN is clearly stating is buddies with Al-Qaeda. So I just wanted you to connect the dots on that. We're not making a judgment call, but we should know this. This is the longest war in American history. These are things I think that we should constantly flag for each other because this is a choice that we're negotiating with the Taliban. One of the things that Tom Jocelyn pointed out to me, which I thought was so great, again, he's the editor of the Long War Journal that really is deep into this stuff about terrorism. He said, listen, Jenna, you can leave Afghanistan and not negotiate with the Taliban. This is a choice to negotiate and legitimize the Taliban. So I think we should be asking, why are you making that choice? And that's one of the questions I asked Tom, and also will continue to ask for you. So I think that's really important. Today in history, one of the most valuable patents of all time was given to Alexander Graham Bell for the telephone. Thank goodness. What?
So, I want some water so I can read the book.
You want some water in your pot? Okay, can you give me a second? It's not to drink, it's for her. Can I see that? Can I see that for a second? I don't think we need this right now. Can you give me 2 minutes?
I want some
Okay,
water.
thanks, I know. I mean, if we had plants, that would be one thing, but we don't. We don't. Okay. Most valuable patent in history, the telephone. 9 out of 10 of us have a telephone. Did you guys know that Alexander Graham Bell's mother was almost fully deaf? And he taught at a school for the deaf, as did his dad at one time. He met his wife at the school for the deaf. She was deaf. Isn't that so interesting that he developed the telephone? And here his family, had this, I feel like I was sitting next to 2 folks last night that were signing. They were using sign language. So I feel like saying a disability, but they were hearing impaired. I mean, it was interesting that Alexander Graham Bell, this inventor, invented something that we so use our hearing for. And so, and here he had such an interesting backstory. That is amazing. Let's show everybody what we're doing. Speaking of inventions, look at this. That is a great use for that unicorn. Yes. Okay. Finally, we have a great study about marriage and the key to happy marriage. Okay. Let me see if I can do this right without being a geneticist. We have gene receptors for oxytocin. Oxytocin is the hormone that makes us happy. Oxytocin is important with social bonding, mothers and childbirth. And so some of us have a variation on our gene receptor for oxytocin. We have a gene receptor. We all have gene receptors for this, but some of us have a variation on it. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. I was like, not only was I saying oxytocin yesterday, I was saying Oxycontin, which is a drug. And you know what? We don't want to mix that up. Oxytocin. Okay. Oxytocin. Oxytocin is the hormone. So anyhow, there's a variation on these gene receptors for some of us. The gene receptors for the hormone oxytocin. And for oxytocin, again, kind of is like, I don't want to say the happy hormone, but the love hormone, and it's been described that way. So for those of us who have this variation on our gene receptor, we have happier marriages, according to this new study out of Yale. It doesn't matter if the man has it or the woman has it. If one of us has it, we have happier marriages, in part because that partner has less anxiety about the relationship. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, I don't know if I have that, and I don't know if my marriage has that. There's actually businesses are emerging that will give you a genetic breakdown for you and your partner. My question for you is, do you want to know that? I don't know if I want to know that. What happens if Leif and I don't have our variation on our gene receptors? And that becomes a problem that I didn't even know I had. The study was small. It was less than 200 people. It wasn't a diverse study. The researchers say they need more diversity. So it's a long way off from saying, hey, this is a really big deal. But I think I still think it was sort of an interesting study to know, hey, if you're having marital problems, and we all do from time to time.
Mama,
Hold on one second. It might just be your DNA.
I need a hot chocolate.
You need a hot chocolate?
Yeah.
I need a lot of things. Okay, we're going to go get some hot chocolate. Anyhow, so instead of blaming yourself, you can alleviate all accountability and blame your genetic makeup. Don't do that. But it's interesting. Check it out on our site today. All right. You guys, seriously. Okay, I'm going to go handle this. We're going to have a little hot chocolate. We're going to calm down, have some hot chocolate. And I hope this was helpful. We covered a lot, didn't we? Alex Trebek and Jeopardy, terrorism, Alexander Graham Bell, and love. This is what my vision of SmartHER News always was. A lot of diversity, a little bit of high-quality information. I wasn't planning on the screaming in the background, but we're just going to roll with it. All right. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you later.